President Donald J. Trump. It happened. It's now a thing. So, I did my prediction video, I guess, what? Yesterday? No, 2 days ago. And I thought Hillary Clinton 279. Now, obviously, you need 270 to win the election. And on that video, I got people scoffing at me. You know, I got people, establishment media types, too. 279. They said, you're crazy. It's going to be Hillary Clinton, 323 electoral votes. They had all these pollsters with their models, and, well, we crunched the data just right, and we looked at all the different demographic transitions, and at the end of the day, boom, pops out the other end, 323 electoral votes. That's the most likely scenario. I mean, look, worst case scenario, what are we talking about? Just over 300 votes for Hillary Clinton? Well, look, man, I told you, and obviously I wasn't correct enough, but I told you, based on the polling data, I thought it was going to be 279, which is Hillary Clinton in a razor-thin margin. Turns out even I was wrong. Donald Trump not only won, Donald Trump is on track to get over 300 electoral votes himself. Okay, I didn't even see that as a possibility, and I was more bullish on Trump than anybody. I didn't even see it as a possibility. I did not see that as a possibility. I thought if Donald Trump was going to win, which I definitely thought was a possibility, as I stressed in my prediction video, don't underestimate him, don't underestimate him, don't underestimate him, don't underestimate him. But I thought if he was going to win, okay, we're looking at, you know, he edges it out. 270-something, 280-something. No, Donald Trump almost nearly landslided Hillary Clinton in the Electoral College. So, what happened? What changed? What's the difference between my prediction map and what ended up actually occurring? Well, I told you guys that I thought Donald Trump was going to take Florida. Now, that prediction... No! See, the early voting happened in Florida, and she's up. So, yeah, I think we're good there. I think we're good there. Yeah, like I said, he took Florida. Razor-thin margin, but he took Florida. I told you he was going to take Florida. Now, I told you she was going to hang on in Nevada. She hung on in Nevada. I told you he was going to take North Carolina. This is another place they're like, no, Democratic leaning. I bet you she takes North Carolina, because President Obama took North Carolina, and I mean, come on. I mean, she's as strong a candidate as he is, right? Nope, he ended up taking North Carolina. But here's the bomb that he dropped on everybody, and poor phrasing, because he might actually start dropping bombs on people soon. But including me, I did not see this coming. There was a segment of my prediction video where I told you, look, in order for him to win, he needs to pick off either Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Minnesota. That's what I said. And I said, is he going to do that? The answer is no. Now, why did I say that? Look, the polling data in those states was clear. The state that she was most vulnerable of those four states, she was a 70% favorite to win. So, you know, look, my predictions are only as good as the data and the available evidence and the information. So I told you guys, hey, in those four states, he ain't going to do it. He's not going to jack one of those states, because what he would need to do is jack one of those states and hold all the states that I told you he would hold, but namely North Carolina and Florida, and those were toss-up states. Now, I thought he was going to win those, but they were toss-up states, so it was definitely conceivable that he would lose one of those. But his path to victory, he needed to win Florida, he needed to win North Carolina, and they needed to jack one of those states. So what ended up happening in those four states? Not only did he jack one, he won 3 out of 4. Nearly a landslide for Donald Trump. Now, what's the only caveat and the only hedge to this? Hillary Clinton is overwhelmingly likely, the votes are not totally finished being counted yet as I'm talking to you guys, she's overwhelmingly likely to win the popular vote. Oh, no. Here we go again. Here we go again. So for those of you who don't know, in Bush v. Gore, I think Al Gore won the popular vote by over 300,000 votes. Oh! And ended up losing the presidency. Hillary Clinton, it looks like she's going to win the popular vote by about 200,000 votes or so. So, we do have this weird system where, hey, the person with the most votes didn't win. It's cool. Now, you guys know I hate Hillary Clinton, but I've always said we should abolish the Electoral College either way, because I think that's a stupid way we do it. I get the reasoning for it back in the day, and you had to get a deal in order to make the union work, yada, yada. I get all that. But when you have, in now many elections, we have a situation where the person with the most votes doesn't win, I mean, that's kind of a shitty system. So, but look, this isn't to take away responsibility from her. No, she fucked up across the board. So, for example, let me give you some numbers here that we got from last night. President Obama, he won in 2012, I think it was 2012, 91% of the black vote. Hillary Clinton won just 88% of the black vote. Obama won 71% of the Latino vote. Hillary Clinton won just 65% of the Latino vote. Non-college white women, Donald Trump won. And Hillary Clinton with college-educated white women. It wasn't nearly as big of a victory as it needed to be in order for her to win. Now, not only that, so her own base suppressed, didn't come out in big enough numbers. She got a smaller percentage of them. But then there was the wild card in the race, which I warned you all along could happen. Midwestern white male voters, middle class, poor. These are people who, when it was Obama, they were in favor of him, and he beat Romney with their votes by quite a bit. So we were covering stories like in New Hampshire, for example. Now, at the end of the day, I think Hillary ends up winning New Hampshire. They're still counting the votes there, too, and it's close. But there were some places where, and in Michigan this happened as well, where President Obama won with like 70% of the vote. Hillary Clinton is down by like 3%. So what's happening is the angry white man is emerging here, and guess what issues they're voting on? TPP, NAFTA, jobs being shipped overseas. They're angry at the establishment. Hillary Clinton represents the establishment. So just like we warned you from the beginning, his populism came through. His populism is a message that resonates. Did you know Hillary Clinton, she was supposed to win Wisconsin easy. She didn't campaign there once. He beat her in Wisconsin. Because that's what Hillary Clinton does. That's who Hillary Clinton is. I got my states in the bag, right? I mean, these are the we're good in these states. Don't worry about those states. I mean, just like with my liberal base, I have them on lock. Turns out you didn't. You know who had their base on lock? Donald Trump. Oh, fractured Republican Party, fractured. I told you all along. It's not that the actual party is fractured and the average Joe is, or the average Joes in the Republican base are fractured. No, they're falling in lockstep behind Donald Trump. The only people who were fractured was the establishment. The establishment Republicans didn't like Donald Trump. It gave the misimpression that there was a bigger fraction in the party than there actually was. Bigger fracture, I should say, than there actually was. You could see I got very little sleep last night. Now, on the Democratic side, again, we covered the polls. Now, granted, these are old polls, and I don't have the numbers yet on, how Bernie voters went, but people were citing this bullshit number. Hillary Clinton's going to get 90% of Bernie Sanders voters. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, no, that's when you just do a head-to-head matchup. When you just do Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, you have to vote. Who do you pick? 90% are like, all right, I'd pick Clinton in that scenario. Well, guess what? That's not the way an actual election really works. You want to know why? Gary Johnson was an option. Jill Stein was an option. Write-in candidate is an option. Not voting is an option. When you add in all the different things, it was only like 55% of Bernie Sanders voters who were going to go for Hillary Clinton. Now, again, I don't have the final numbers in front of me here, but obviously turnout was lower. So we warned you. Politics 101. Don't abandon your base. Don't abandon your base. Every turn, she abandoned her base. I'm going to pick Tim Kaine for VP. He's for TPP. He's a center-right Democrat who's never said an interesting fucking thing in his entire life, and he's a white man. This'll work. Oh, no, it didn't. We fucking warned you, man. We warned you. It not only was it possible, my arguments about why it was possible for Trump to win were even stronger than I realized. Because, again, I thought if he's going to pull it out, and I thought she was a favorite. That's why I had my prediction at 279 for her. But if he was going to pull it out, it was going to be, but it wasn't by a little bit. And again, I also had no clue. I didn't even know it was possible, and I'm somebody who is literally an expert in political science. I have a degree in political science. I didn't even know it was possible for there to be basically a near landslide in the Electoral College with losing the popular vote. I mean, that's what happened. He basically nearly landslided her on the Electoral College and is going to lose the popular vote. Okay, what? I thought that if it was close, I get it that like, oh, there could be, you could win in a razor-thin margin and lose the popular vote. But no, he won in the Electoral College map by a lot, and he's going to lose the popular vote. So, there it is, man. President Donald J. Trump. I got a lot more to say about it, and I'm going to get to more. What went wrong? What can we do moving forward? And all that stuff. Those are separate segments. But this segment is to tell you, for everybody who said, it's not possible. Oh, it's possible. And also, most pollsters did the shittiest job ever, and they were dead wrong. Huffington Post had Hillary's chances at over 98% to win. Utterly made up. Utterly made up. The only pollster who actually did a decent job, and it's funny I'm saying this now, given that I was basically feuding with him during the primary and that I was feuding with him earlier on in the general election, but Nate Silver was the only one who has any credibility left. Now, Nate Silver still had a favorite for Hillary to win, but everybody did. So did I. I mean, that's what the numbers showed. So he saw it a favor for Hillary to win, but he said, 35% chance for Trump as of, yesterday, early yesterday. That's a real chance. Anybody play poker out there? If you play poker, 35% is fucking real as fuck. It happens, man. So, but what's the craziest part of it? So the actual numbers showed this wasn't that crazy. So she was up going into this week and going into the election. She was up on average about 3 points in the polls. Maybe 4. So people go, that's it, locked up. Well, again, you don't get the dichotomy of electoral college versus popular vote if you think that that's locked up. But furthermore, standard margin of error for polls is 3 percentage points. It could swing, in her favor or against her 3 percentage points. Easy. So what happened in 2012? Well, Obama overshot his polls by 3 percentage points. Okay, so it happens. We know it happens. Well, what happened this election? Donald Trump overshot his estimates by 3 percentage points. So it looks like, again, it's going to be, she's going to win the popular vote by less than 1%, maybe 0.5%. And she's going to lose the Electoral College. So really not all that crazy. And 35% was not like a nothing chance. I was just arguing the other day with another journalist on Twitter about this. He tweeted, everything else is noise, and showed like the polls, +4, +3, +4 for Hillary. Everything else is noise. Ah! I was like, no, it's not. The Electoral College is a thing. He's like, yeah, he's losing that too. They didn't fucking take it seriously. I warned them it could happen. We warned them it could happen. The Democrats ran the wrong candidate. Again, I'm going to get to this stuff in a little bit here, but all you need to know for this segment is Donald Trump, near landslide in the Electoral College, even though he'll lose the popular vote, likely lose the popular vote, looking like it when all the votes are rolling in. She's up by like 200,000 as I'm talking to you guys right now. All you need to know is all that, and President Donald J. Trump is now a thing.